and welcome to tonight. What along? How you doing, boys?
Yeah, good.
Very good, thank you. I'm very much looking forward to the Badger Parade later.
Do you know what just happened then? If you were watching carefully, is exactly as we came live, I had a mouthful of food. It was that nom. So it is.
While you've got a mouthful of food, Dan, let me introduce you to this evening's supply of nuts. Now, some years ago, I found this. This is a nutcracker. It's my favourite nutcracker, and it redefined my relationship with nuts because it makes cracking nuts so easy and so satisfying. And I recommend this.
Could you
give us a demonstration there, James?
What's the make and model of your nutcracker?
Here's a nut. Insert nut. See, nut cracked.
Very satisfying noise, isn't it?
Look how easy that was. Delicious nuts.
And imagine that was your real nuts. Ooh.
Carl, downstairs in your pub, do you have those on the bar, or do you just sell them in packets pre-cracked?
Well, we have pre-prepared peanuts packaged appropriately.
Do you have the honey nut roasted peanuts?
We have dry roasted or salted currently, but we do also have salted pistachio nuts.
Or pork scratchings.
We have nice little rice cracker chili puffs.
Mr. Porky's, do you have Mr. Porky's pork scratchings?
We don't, I'm afraid.
You don't have the hairy pork scratchings?
No, we don't sell pork scratchings.
You've got a nice pub, haven't you?
I have got a nice pub, I'm afraid.
Pork scratchings delicious, but they give me raging indigestion every single time.
Oh,
but
we also have, which you may like, the wasabi coated nuts.
Oh, yeah.
We have those.
Just out of interest, Carl, in your pub, do you sell salt and vinegar flavoured crisps, or do you sell balsamic vinegar and sea salt flavoured crisps?
We sell sea salt and malt vinegar Tyrrell's crisps.
It's posh pub. Yeah.
It is, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
it's cheddar and chive here, sir.
Right.
Right. So Katie says a hammer and a clean floor works for that, James. Stop showing off.
Actually, James, I would like to see you at least attempt to crush one in your bicep, please.
No, that's not working.
I didn't hear a crack.
No. Now you see, if we'd have given him notice on that, he'd have had the cracker with one in ready, out of sight, and just gone.
I'd have just had the sound effect. Yeah, a crisp packet.
So what are we here for tonight?
We're here to announce that I'll let you do it, Dan. Sorry.
I'm doing my dinner.
So we're here to announce Destination Star Trek London is officially going ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll be there, and we're looking forward to seeing every one of you there as well.
And you better all be there.
Yeah, there's a rumour that we might be doing something there other than just drinking alcohol.
We are. Now, give me 2 seconds. I have a surprise. I'll be back.
Now he wants to talk. But it is going ahead. Also, because America have really wrapped up their vaccines, it's looking like we're going to get a lot of US stars come here. Mainly because the UK's done such a good job with their vaccine rollout. But it's definitely going ahead. We'll be there. We want to see all of you there. We are so excited about this. I mean, genuinely, the guys will tell you I've not been well this week. I'm recovering now, and I've had a right downer. That news dropping today has really cheered me up and brightened my day. And I hope it's brightened up everyone else's day as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic news.
So watch out for some live blankety blank.
Well, I mean, I know that James is very keen on putting himself forward to host the diversity panel this year, but we're hoping that we will do something more talking Trek. You know, we'll get possibly a Steve Gutenberg satellite interview going. Hopefully, we'll have live blankety blank going. There's all sorts of things we can do for Let's Talk Trek. And if we're not doing it officially, we will be doing it in the bar. And I really can't wait to see you all there.
Now, James, I don't know if anyone had told you, but your T-shirt, that was yesterday?
What was yesterday?
May the 4th?
It's May the 5th.
Yes, Revenge of the Sith today.
Revenge of the Sith, whatever, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jacob. Get well soon, Rich Dashby. That's very kind of. I am trying very hard to get better soon, but it's taken me nearly an hour to drink this glass of wine. I know it's a big glass of wine, but still, that's hard work for me.
So, good evening, and welcome to Destination Star Trek. Oh no, hold on, that's not yet.
Come on, what's the surprise, Dan?
The surprise is that Dan was going to be hosting a stage at Destination Star Trek, but they're worried he won't finish his dinner.
It's very true. It's exactly that.
Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen, William Shatner. Woo! Bill, do you want to bite of my burger? You know. Right. My quick running off was because the lovely lady has just arrived home after leaving for work at 5 a.m. and I had her dinner ready, so I had to just get it out and give it to her before
She ought to work harder. She'll finish sooner.
Ooh. No, the NHS, such lazy people. Not really. We love them, really. Right. So, yes, DST is definitely on. There are some dates. There are lots of hotels available. So, if you are coming down, book a hotel. We're going to be having a very special show in a couple of weeks about things you should take to conventions, things you shouldn't bother taking because it's already there that you think you probably need and you don't. Some of our personal...
Nutcracker.
Riker's beard contraceptive foam.
Oh, God.
Essential.
Money and alcohol, that's all you need.
A little saw.
That tends to be your head on the Monday.
Carl, James, have you tried sawing open a nut rather than using a nutcracker?
No, because I've got the world's best nutcracker. Why would I use any other tool?
Right, so shall we stop killing time now and do some actual watching along?
Go on, then.
Why have we got this episode?
It was on
Because
the Wheel
you
of Death.
vetoed the one I chose.
I did veto the one you chose. It's very true.
And you didn't enjoy the way the wheel twice in succession chose shore leave.
It's almost like James wants to be a part of this cancel culture.
Right, so let me plug the headphones in. You'll notice that the office has moved around behind me, which is good, but it means I also can't find anything at the moment. So that's a little bit disconcerting. Everything seems to have gone missing in the move. So.
Oh, I've got an idea. We could play like an online version of Battleships using your cupboard behind you. So we could label that as grid A, B, C, D, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. A4. You got my cap. Bah.
B2, you've won yourself a one company communicator and phaser and mood rock and look,
that would be an exciting and valuable prize.
So, should we tell everyone why we're here specifically tonight, so they can get the episode and everything lined up ready?
Okay, go on. So it is season 4 of Next Generation, episode 21, Shore Leave, and we've
The Drumhead.
Oh yeah, the Drumhead. And we've asked a legal expert to come on to give his legal opinions on it, as it is a episode about the law. So
He'll be arriving shortly.
if he doesn't come in a big powdery wig, I am disappointed.
Or she.
Or she.
Yeah.
Or it.
That's no way to talk about your co-workers.
Thing is, when you say that, I think of Cousin It from Addams Family. And he died the other day, didn't he? He died last week. The actor that played him, yeah.
Right, so shall we get ready?
Yeah, shall we cue it up?
Oh, hang on.
Queued up on my screen.
Well, count it down then.
Wait a second. I've got to set this on 1.5 times speed to cause more confusion.
James, headphones.
Yes, I'll be there in a moment. Hang on. Which season 4 is it?
Season 4, episode 21.
Day 17, and James
There it
has
is.
just about mastered use of the mouse.
Moose. Oh, look, there's that woman with the ridiculous collar.
You know my little Picard quotes book that I showed on Collectibles Corner about a month or so ago? This
Yeah.
episode single-handedly probably fills about a third of that book.
Can I just point out that James is borrowing his daughter's headphones?
James has very blatantly bought them on a beach in Turkey with a stick.
Does that say Hello Kitty on the side of that?
No, they say bets on the side. It's meant to say beats, but they're a Turkish knockoff.
Ooh, James has his reference material handy.
Sony.
Sony's not spelt with an I.
Now, I'm going to refer to the Star Trek The Next Generation companion as written by friend of the show, Larry Nemeczek, otherwise
Good old
known as
Larry.
Dr. Trek.
What a lovely guy he is as well.
We do like Larry.
No, he's top chap, isn't he?
Right, so let's, without further ado, do some counting down. So, Carl, as you're a pub manager and you count things,
Including on
by Jonathan
countdown
Frakes.
from 5.
from the count of 1 dozen,
Okay. 1 dozen. 11. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Destruct.
1. Play.
Oh, mine is buffering. There we go.
you need to buy more internet.
I'll
Do you want
download
to borrow some of mine?
I don't think you can afford to give any more, James.
Who sabotaged the warp drive?
The sabotager. Saboteur.
Sabotage.
Oh, look, it's poor man's Wharf.
What kind of interrogation room is this?
A bad one.
Why is the chief of security not doing the interview?
According to Larry Nemeczek, this was intended to be a money-saving clip show, like the second season of Shades of Grey. So perhaps if they ran out of budget, they couldn't afford Michael Dorn. Oh, there he is. Maybe they could. They found some budget.
Looking intimidating, $50. Saying a line, $2,000.
Riker was hoping for a
Is it
basic
just
intro
me?
television
Literally,
there,
that's
wasn't
her only job on the ship is to know if someone's lying or not. And she says, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Like, well, go home then. Like, what's the purpose of you being here?
More powerful than Garon? Or have we met him by this point? I can't remember.
Come on, everyone, let's see your Gowron eyes. Wow.
I love the way Worf's moves are always so sort of like, they're rigid. They're like,
So, Michael Dorn actually had a fair bit to do with this. He worked with his stuntman to develop what martial art they would use and what stunts they go for, and they went specifically for Shotokan karate, which, if any other martial artists are watching, is a bit of a surprise that they would do that for a Klingon martial art, because Shotokan is kind of similar to a Jutsu Kai version of karate, which is quite defensive, but all the moves are very, right word for it, solid. And Michael Dorn is a great actor. He's not physically gifted at martial arts, so they wanted to work with something that would make him look powerful. So Shotokan moves worked really well.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, you wouldn't want to take one of those punches. They do look like they pack a bit of a wallop.
No, for a vegan, you wouldn't be on the receiving end of him, would you? But no, they picked exactly the right style to make him and his character look powerful.
It's quite funny with Worf. Is through the whole series, all the Klingons he ever meets effectively call him a bit of a softie, yet he whoops every single fight every time.
Yep.
Yeah. mean, it's one of these things you learn about Worf being raised by humans on a human world that I think you take for granted, and sometimes you don't appreciate enough, that the people on the starship, be they Klingon, be they Betazoid, be they human, be they whoever, they are the best of the best. You know, there's billions upon billions of people in the Federation. The people in these Starfleets are the best at what they do. Now, Worf doesn't get to be security officer on the flagship of the Enterprise by not being an absolute badass. You know, there's no two ways about it.
Well, it's like that episode of Deep Space Nine when Worf is being held in the Dominion internment camp and has to fight the Jim again and again. And you just think, how much more punishment can he take, you know?
And all that on a bean burger.
Yeah.
Good episode because Garrick's in the wall as well, and obviously does the
claustrophobia.
Oh, brilliant. Andrew Robinson, fantastic.
Yeah.
Although I did prefer him as Scorpio in Dirty Harry. He was amazing.
Here she is, the paranoia queen.
I like that she's got a mini gallows on the front of her outfit there.
Yeah.
She looks a bit like she's been eaten by a giant fish, doesn't she?
Yeah. Or a Venus flytrap just about to close around her head. I know they brought her out of retirement, but seriously, what sort of outfit is that for an admiral?
Now, am I right in thinking in this episode we get to see a replay where Geordie rolls under a door?
Well, he does that in nearly every episode, doesn't he, Dad?
Yeah, whenever there's a warp core problem.
Oh, actually, let's be Geordie. Look.
Not all of us have got Fisher-Price earphones. Richard looks like the most rubbish Cylon in the world.
So the Admiral says, I want to talk to your manager. And Geordie says, I don't have a manager, but I do have a supervisor.
Boom, boom.
Sabotage.
Well, that is what he said straight away, and you went, no, let's get straight to it. Warning signs straight away there.
I mean, speaking strictly from a legal perspective, you don't tend to have the inquiry on the disabled ship that's still being repaired. You tend to have it, for example, in a courtroom.
And what do you know about maritime law?
Quite a lot, actually.
Why did you go there? Why did you go there, Dan?
What would you like to know?
Do you really think James is the sort of person to start saying these things if he didn't have the knowledge to back it up?
True or false? Pirates didn't die out. They came on land and bought caravans.
That's more a political point than a legal one. Oh, now what is she drinking there? Could it be tea?
No, it's salted caramel.
That's a sonic screwdriver, isn't it?
No, it looks like a hypo syringe with a modified optical reader.
Earl Grey with milk. Ugh.
Yeah, he really does play the part. Could you imagine anyone other than Michael Dorn playing Worf? I mean, he's just absolutely magic, isn't he? He really is. And he puts so much. It's not just his acting. He puts so much into the role and making it his own as well behind the scenes in the production.
I do hope he crops up in Picard.
I'm sure he will do. Certainly.
Yeah,
will do.
sooner or later.
Well, it's suggested that he's the captain of the Enterprise E, isn't it?
Well, he is
in the era.
canonically.
Yep.
Canonically, he is. Yeah.
Didn't Benjamin Sisko tell him he'd never get a captaincy of his own, though?
I think
What
it's
we
said
covered
that.
the mission with Jadzia.
Yeah, he said it'd be on his record and it would hurt his chances. Yeah.
Isn't it covered in one of the Picard prequel novels?
Yeah, that's right. In the
Yes,
in
I
the
think it might be
McCormack
the one from Mr. Swallows that we all discussed.
Right.
I used this little tiny screwdriver.
Control Alt Delete.
I tried to use the warp core to make popcorn.
I succeeded!
Well, they evidently didn't prevent him from guessing. I suppose in the prequel novel, I'm fairly certain that it was worded Picard said, "I'm choosing the next captain, and it's going to be Worf." And they were so
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they were so desperate for Picard to take the job. It was literally, you name what you want.
Yeah, it was
And
part
he
of the
said-
condition of him taking
I
on
think
the
it was,
rescue
yeah.
armada, wasn't it?
So I think I can't remember it precisely the wording, but I think Picard said, "I'm not having anyone else other than Worf captain the Enterprise." So perhaps why they overlooked that particular issue. Then.
Come back to this issue, though, of Starfleet is a quasi-military organisation, and it's not a question of you saying, "I don't fancy obeying these orders and taking command of this fleet." You're told to go and command the fleet. You go and command the fleet.
Well, I think that is how Jean-Luc viewed it. But I think,
But
there's
at that
a
point,
man of
maybe,
his stature and reputation obviously carries weight as he would in a military setup. Yeah.
and maybe at that point they're not ordered to go and do stuff. They're merely offered the opportunity.
Now, interestingly, obviously, this episode is quite legal in the Star Trek. There's a couple of episodes in TNG that are quite lawyery based.
Measure of a Man being a very good example.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, a very popular TV show that's been on now for 14 seasons, maybe even longer, NCIS, which is, and all those type of investigatory criminal American programs that are on. Makes you wonder why there's not been like a Starfleet JAG program, going off and investigating crimes of the Federation every week.
Potentially, I suppose Section 31 might cover that sort of thing if it comes out eventually. Would be nice to see.
Absolutely.
Section 31's actually already been released.
We just don't know it yet.
Yeah, we've been watching it. You've no idea.
The thing I like about this episode is that it initially comes across as being this big investigation for a conspiracy and stuff, but actually that's complete red herring about, it's not what the episode's about at all.
Yeah. It's about her
God,
earrings
spoilers.
and the Ovaltine she was drinking.
It's not a spoiler, Dan. I didn't say what the episode was about.
Like
Now,
anyone
now
who's-
everyone knows that Picard gets assimilated by the Borg.
That's already
And she
happened.
gets
that's
a
already
new
happened.
cracker.
It's already happened.
This dude here, he seems familiar. What do we know him from?
He looks like he's been headbutted by Worf. If you have a look closely,
Yeah.
they've had a falling out, and Worf's nutted him, wasn't he? He's gone. Either that or he's really concerned.
Just want to wish you all good luck. We're all counting on you. Where's the thing they had in TOS where you put your hand on a sort of white plate and that was the the truth detector?
Where it's got that weird computer voice. Confirm, Captain Kirk.
Why don't computers talk like that? What's
It'd
gone
be great,
wrong?
wouldn't it?
I think that computer voice and Benjamin Sisko need to have a conversation at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks really informal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just going to sit down and have a chat with you about this. Now, if you wouldn't mind going upper level onto the chair all on your own and what just stare at you incriminatingly.
Now, I did send you an article on this week, Carl. Did you see where the actor
No.
talk? I sent it to you about the actor talking about doing the Drumhead, the guy that plays Simon Tarsus, and his experience of it.
It is a great episode. It's one of my favourite TNGs. This one.
Carrot.
Oh, look, it's Beverly's haunted grandmother.
I've always thought that a candle was an inappropriate object for the ghost to haunt. Surely there's some other object that ghost would have haunted.
That's a different episode altogether. We'll talk about that when we do the watch on that one.
Oh yeah, are we still going ahead with the Let's Talk Trek Noir?
No, we're behaving now because Destination's on the way.
Yeah.
I want to do Let's Talk Trek Noir. That'd be good.
It's on the dark web. Yeah, and how's your evidence admissible, boyo?
I was saying to Richard, this episode is another one of those episodes a bit like the episode of DS9 where Julian Bashir is found out to be genetically engineered, and the episode of Voyager where Neelix turns criminal to find a map because he's... And it's essentially the moral of Star Trek across all three seasons is don't lie on your CV because you always get found out. Yes, and Picard's counsellor can't really tell anything. We've ascertained this already.
So one of the funniest things, possibly the only funny thing that Marina Sirtis ever said was, like, what is your beta Z power? And she said, I feel shit. She just feels shit all the time. I'll just feel shit. That's what she...
I thought Marina Sirtis' beta Z power was going for breakfast with you, Richard.
We will talk about that in great detail on Let's Talk Trek Noir.
Did she offer to show you her tattoo?
We will talk about that in great detail on Star Trek Noir.
My tattoo has no user service side.
Unfortunately, your internet didn't download enough there. I didn't get that, James. But we will talk about that in more detail on Star Trek Noir.
Continuous surveillance.
Well, this is the problem. I don't like Spurs. So, this is a...
Oh, is it like a rugby reference, is it?
So, Marina Sirtis has a tattoo of Tottenham Hotspur. It's not in an intimate place. Many people other than me have seen it, but I wasn't impressed by it. She asked me if I wanted to see it, and I declined. And that's it. Nothing more to tell there at all.
That's strange. Drunken Richard tells a very different story.
It's not like it's a proper sport, though, like rugby, is it?
Talking of which, indirectly off the record, my day job is sponsoring.
While we're broadcasting live.
Yeah, my day job is sponsoring the British Lions because that's apparently related to what we do. In some, they're not buying us pens and paper, but they are sponsoring a rugby team.
What, in the same way that Red Bull, an energy drink, sponsors a Formula One or two Formula One teams?
Obviously, I'm not speaking disparagingly of my employer. I love them lots. Please don't stop my bonus. But yeah, they are sponsoring the British Lion thingy. And I believe, having read my emails earlier today, I've come 10th in the country in sales for out of 3,000 or 4,000 people. And I've won tickets to go and watch the oval ball thing.
Oh, fantastic.
So if you want to come and watch the oval ball thing, we can probably arrange that.
Fantastic.
I don't follow rugby myself, but it sounds like a smashing prize.
It sounds
I believe
like
it's called, the full name is rugby football.
That's correct.
But yeah, I used to enjoy playing it at school, but similar to American football, I don't like. I like playing it, not watching it. No, I'm a Liverpool fan, as you can tell by my accent.
That's the point. It gets really dangerous this episode.
Oh.
Yes, he was a very good professional spy.
I mean, he wasn't Garrick, but you know. On professional spies, you have Garrick, then you have what's her name from? No, I was
Julian
thinking.
Bashir was the best spy, both unofficially and officially, and in the holodeck.
I was thinking Seska because she managed to infiltrate Chakotay's.
She took it to another level. I think she. What do they call it? She went native. I think they call it in the spy trade, don't they? She went native.
So, Simon Tarsus, you are guilty of something, and until we find out what it is, we're not going to stop investigating you.
So, as the legal professional in the room, James, does this sort of thing actually happen?
No.
Well, an informal hearing like this.
Where's the big tape?
Picard will explain to you about Drumhead trials.
Yeah.
Where's the big tape recorder with two buttons that you click?
No, that's a brilliant interview.
I'm waiting for David Jason to come in.
Present in the room are Daniel Mason, freelance DJ, Richard Ashby,
senior store manager,
IT professional,
James is now looking up what Carl's surname is. Awkward.
Dr. Crusher, does your hairdresser have the day off? Dr. Crusher, how is it so windy on a starship?
Dr. Crusher, do not roll your eyes at an admiral.
Dr. Crusher, was your makeup applied by a whore gun?
Go on, Jean-Luc.
This is where she says, "I'm an admiral, you're a captain. Shut up."
Have you seen her earrings are gone now? And
have
the
you
costume.
Have you seen how many people are there for this hearing now?
The informal one.
Yeah.
They're
all so good.
An interview once, a very serious professional interview, where I was going to be interviewed by three people. but those 3 people were being peer-reviewed by another panel of 3. And for some reason, that group of 3 people who was peer-reviewing the first group of people was themselves being peer-reviewed. So I was actually interviewed by 3 people who were themselves being monitored by another 6. And then there was a government official in the row. I thought, this is preposterous. Surrounded by people.
I
and I was supposed to ignore 7 of them.
I was interviewed once by a grand total of 18 people simultaneously. Sat around me in a big circle, me and my wife in a big circle, 18 people.
What was that for?
That was when my wife and I applied to adopt some children. So we had to have literally there was representatives from every social agency you could imagine. All of them firing questions at us, asking us why we thought we could be parents. It was a very intimidating experience. But luckily, as I had a bottle of wine before I went in, I think we pulled it off quite well.
Who's his counsel?
Riker.
Now, in any proper court, he should have been warned in advance of answering the question by the tribunal itself that he didn't have to answer.
But surely, again, what they just did there, the guy fabricated evidence to try and get to a truth. Surely that can't be admissible.
Yeah, but nobody shouted objection very loudly.
Picard did.
I've watched enough Suits. I know how this works. If 6 seasons of Suits has taught me anything, it's you can pretend to be a lawyer.
I do it every day.
Do you know something this episode also does? It reveals that. I'm going back myself now because a short time ago I stated just how much the elite of Star Trek were the best at what they're doing. Shows right here how young Worf is and how he is in no way near ready to be in a position of responsibility at this stage in his career.
Your area is divorce, is it not, James?
Which is one of my fields.
So, who's going to come off better, Bill or Melinda?
I'd say that the people who will benefit the most will be the legal profession.
1 billion for you, 1 billion for you, 1 billion for us.
Now, according to Larry Nemeczek, this is the first time we actually learn that the Federation is governed by something called a constitution, rather than anything else. Let me find the note. Here we are. Where is it? Yes, and it's various Bill of Rights is composed of guarantees, the 7th roughly corresponding to something in the American Constitution.
I love that last little quote there from Picard.
Larry, what are you talking about?
The road from suspicion to rampant paranoia is very much shorter than we think.
But this is very forward thinking because just the other day, I frequently this annoys me on social media when people name and shame people who are accused of things, rather than who've been found guilty. And there was a dad who was out walking his daughter who was caught on someone's CCTV, and the person who owned the CCTV put it up on social media and went, "This paedophile's out grooming a girl." It was his daughter. They were out for a walk. But before he knew it, 300 odd people on Facebook had declared him a paedophile. I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to say here. Leave it out.
Now, interestingly, unrelated, in this scene, it's like the guy that plays Simon Tarsis had got the job on TNG and been told, look, you're going to be playing this sort of, Romulan twice removed type joy. But there wasn't Wikipedia and there wasn't the internet as it is today. So, and the guy wasn't really a Star Trek fan, so he had a weekend to find out what a Romulan is.
Without the use of the internet.
And without the use of the TNG companion.
Wants to speak to all of his friends at the academy training program. Good God.
Well, if they're anything like my friends, and the police came and said, "Tell us about Dan," I would expect you to keep your mouth shut.
Depends what questions they were asking.
Yeah. Like if we're going to give you an alibi, we have to tell him something.
Yeah.
Yes, but if any good friends are not going to drop you in it, are they?
No.
Well, I've got a dossier on all of you just in case.
Oh, thank God for that.
And the interesting thing is, in James's last will and testament, I'm the only one who has access to his computer to delete his browser history.
Yeah, he's
Sorry,
my
Claire.
buddy.
I trust that if I was to ring any of you free and say, "Look, I need an alibi," no questions asked, you would provide aforementioned alibi.
Yeah, but
I would have to ask one question.
Yeah, lots of questions.
What are my friends like? Useless. Is she the actress who played Beverly's grandmother? Looks very similar.
I honestly can't remember what her grandmother looked like.
Let's see if Larry Nemechek can help us.
What, we're going to give him a ring?
I think we have got his number, actually.
Doesn't he do a web?
I'll tell you what, we should get him to come on for one of these TNG watch-alongs. I bet he'd love it.
Yeah.
I bet he'd be like, "What are you free on about? For on about?"
I'll tell you what, we'd get some amazing insights off him if he did.
No, I do.
You'd
like
have to
Larry-
deliberately choose an awful episode as well.
Yeah, the problem with Larry Nemechek, I find, is he's lovely, but you'd have to mute him a bit. Because he not in a bad, just because he loves it so much, he knows so much, he just carries on. You know?
Well, he was there through it all, wasn't he?
What episode would you like to know the insides of?
Code of Honor. No, seriously, I'd like to know how that got to screen. I really would.
Or what's the one where they find the Irish people?
God, that's as bad, isn't it? That's terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
The Masterpiece Society, isn't it?
Mm.
There we go.
I'm afraid Larry hasn't helped us here as to whether the actress Jean Simmons is in Sub Rosa.
Okay, let me see if Google.
Or is Felisa Howard the grandmother?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, she's played by Ellen Albertini Dow, so it's not the same actress.
That'd be a no then. Oh, look, there's another blinky under there that I need to know for my Build It Enterprise.
What's Riker doing there? Why is he sitting like that?
Looks like
If he's waiting for someone to deliver his drink on a tray.
That's how I usually sit.
Your ale, Commander.
He's following the rules. You're not allowed to get up while you're sitting down to drink.
Unless you put a mask on to move around. That's right.
Yes.
I missed that. Has Picard just been summoned?
Yes.
He has.
For his deposition, yes. Oh, peer review.
Mm.
Boom!
I was going to say that's the point where you sit there and go, ah! Loser!
Lawyered.
It was an informal hearing with witnesses.
And a judge.
Yeah, he's not Janeway. Of course he does.
3 times a year. That's pretty good. Yes, I ironed some sheets.
I believe I had eggs Benedict for breakfast.
This is where you want Data, who will just like reel off exactly what happened.
Mm.
Stephen says this episode reminds me of George Takei's Allegiance play.
Oh, that was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Ooh. Isn't it amazing how easily these things could spiral out of control?
Well, again, it's
Not in any British court.
well, no. These days it is. It's trial. trial by social media and sensationalism does exist. This is exactly what Star Trek is trying to warn us against.
I mean, I'm not getting into the politics of this, but I was reading today.
Go on, Dan. Go for it. Get into the politics.
I was reading today about the gentleman who was convicted of the police officer who was convicted of the death of that American gentleman by
George Floyd.
Yes, has asked for a retrial, and the reason he's asked for a retrial was because public opinion was already so badly swayed by social media. Well, obviously, whether or not where you fall on which side of that argument is irrelevant. But like Richard said, social media is such a
It had already been tried and convicted, and this has been happening for a long time. Sadly, I've seen this happen time and time again in our Star Trek groups we're members of, and I'm always disgusted when I see it because haven't you watched this episode?
Yeah,
it does appall me.
Here comes one of his fantastic speeches. Boom!
Time for Ovaltine, love. This is why old people shouldn't be in positions of power.
Not a very impartial tribunal, is she?
No. The term "oops" comes to mind.
That admiral is just someone said the buffet's open. Like, he don't want to be last there, does he? He's like buffet.
That's the retired admiral version of going, oh bollocks.
I think I'm just going to go back to my quarters now and watch Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Can we call a recess, please, so I can go onto Indeed and look for a new job?
And this particular chapter may conveniently disappear from my CV.
Where was you on these star dates? On holiday.
And she stood there now thinking, thank God all I was doing was taking notes.
Where did I leave those net curtains?
Did I leave the iron on? That's got to be the only time I've ever seen Jean-Luc in a catalogue pose.
As much as we've been a bit light-hearted on this episode, it is a very good episode, this.
It's not an episode to be light-hearted about. It's an amazing episode.
I think we're doing a good job of ruining the seriousness of this episode.
Yeah, we're not doing bad, to be fair.
Yeah, I think we are.
I'm looking forward to us...
TNG, doesn't it?
I'm really looking forward to us ruining Measure of a Man next.
This is brilliant Worf.
Such a valuable lesson, this bit.
It is. It shows that we will all make mistakes, and they're not a mistake as long as you learn from it.
Yep.
So I pop up Stephen McCarthy's comment there because that did make me chuckle.
Well, wait for the end. We get the Phil Collins drum solo.
Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, I have to say it's probably not the best episode for a watch along. It's quite a serious watch and enjoy. Not a single phaser was fired, but a good episode nonetheless.
It is.
Oh, that's better.
So, suggestions for the next watch along.
Shall I?
Maybe something rather light-hearted. Let's see what the wheel can produce.
Is Sub Rosa in the wheel?
Ta-da!
Can we add Sub Rosa to the wheel?
In the wheel, we have Star Trek 6.
Look, you can also
Take out Drumhead. Drumhead needs replacing. We've just watched it.
Let's put Sub Rosa in its place.
Times Arrow.
There are some good ones in there.
Threshold.
Nepenthe. What's Nepenthe?
Let me just pick an episode. at random.
Nepenthe's the Picard episode, isn't it?
Oh, that's a two-parter. No.
The Wire.
Three Amigos.
Oh, The
Fists
Wire's
That
a
one.
brilliant. The Wire's a brilliant episode.
I put the two-parter in Purgatory Shadows and Inferno's Light.
That is a good choice.
Right, so Carl or Richard or James, will you give the word, please?
Engage.
Engage.
Oh, you missed out on it there. You should have said, Mr. Mason, the word is given.
Oh,
hello.
Oh!
It's a
Two-parter.
two-parter.
Oh!
Well, you see, that's fairly good for me because if I happen to be working late that evening, I may just catch the second episode.
Do you know what? That's not a bad double episode either. Especially as we were talking about Worf growing up. You know, that's an episode which it's a very different Worf to what you've seen in the episode we just watched, for instance. You know, and like, as we actually mentioned before, it's a very good Garrick episode that as well. Andrew Robinson doing the
What Andrew
claustrophobia.
Robinson does best.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Adding a completely different side to the character that you've never seen before.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Do you think we can all go around to Paul's house and watch it on his big TV?
Hey, guys, I'm going to have to call it a night here. And
we would have to go to
bed.
Wales.
I've got to get up and get my COVID jab done in the morning. I'm afraid I'm still not feeling terribly well. So it was a pleasure as always. And
Absolutely,
thank you, viewer,
mate.
for watching. Take care.
Goodbye.
See you
Night.
soon, Richard.
Oh, and then there was three. Yeah, Purgatory Shadow and Inferno Light is a great choice in episode.
It is. So what do we think to the episode we've just seen then? Because that's what we're here for. Let's have a quick chat about that one.
Well, I mean, interesting now there's not messing around. James, legally, where is it a good example of law being given or a bad example or
Terrible example of law being given. Admiral Satie starts from the idea that there is a conspiracy, and then she doggedly pursues the idea that there is one. And the very matter they are investigating, which is that someone sabotaged the ship or ostensibly sabotaged the ship, despite evidence that it wasn't sabotage, she continues her hunt. She has what's called confirmation bias. She has formed an opinion and seeks evidence to support it, rather than looking at the evidence objectively. And to the point that when she is examining Picard, she's attacking him for things that she's found in his career. And you go, well, what's that got to do with this guy Tarsus? It's nothing. You're just attacking
That's
him.
it. Absolutely no relevance.
Yeah, so she was hell bent on identifying a conspiracy, an undisclosed conspiracy. It was a disaster, and Picard stands head and shoulders above everyone in the room, as Sir Patrick Stewart, only he can, and delivers one of his superb monologues, where you think, I'm totally persuaded by everything he has to say. He makes Sati look like an imbecile.
I think it's amazing as well. And we brought this up, funnily enough, we mentioned Mr. Swallow earlier on, but we brought it up when we interviewed him because of the episode he'd written with 7 of 9 in Voyager, where she was alone on the ship for so long. And it's, we alluded to the fact earlier on that situations like this occur in modern day right now on social media as we're talking. And it's amazing how Star Trek, these lessons are all there for us to learn and to pay attention to. But it's scary how people don't listen and they don't learn. Sorry, rather somber note, but it did just jump in my head. No.
Well, he could have been.
He could have been. We don't know for definite, but
There's this general principle that if you accuse someone of a crime, you should have some basis for doing so, and ideally some evidence.
Rather than making the circumstances fit your theory.
Yes. Oh, well, I enjoyed it. It was a good watch along. So I'm going to leave you guys to it now. I think that's probably it for tonight from myself.
Well, yes. To be fair, I think I'm done for this evening. It's been a long day at work.
So when are we going to host our 2-part watch along? A couple of weeks?
3 weeks
Well,
today?
we usually do these every 2 weeks, don't we?
We do. Although, is it 3? Oh, it's a bit too long. I was going to say in 3 weeks' time, we've got a bank holiday Monday. We could probably.
Yeah, there's no way I'm not being able to do that.
And then I remembered.
Pub manager.
When are we doing our anniversary show? We've got to be coming up for our first anniversary, haven't we?
I think technically it's in about 2 weeks.
Oh, about the 17th, when Carl reopens, probably.
Yeah.
No, I think technically it's the day before. I think our anniversary show should be Sunday the 16th, I think.
Golly.
We'll have to look into that.
See you later, guys. I'm off.
Right. Good night, dear viewer. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you on Sunday.